Hello, good evening. This is Lorenzo and welcome back to a mission a day number 8. Now, the space program is in a little bit of trouble. You might recall yesterday we accidentally launched Jebediah Kerman on a solar orbit trajectory. Mission number 7, here it is, there he is. And he's not coming back. He's exhausted all his fuel and he's now stuck in this beautiful orbit. This is not the problem I'm referring to. It's tragic, but we can live with it. After all, there's Bill, there's Bob, and there is plenty more astronauts. No, the problem is our missions. These are the missions we have done so far, and you can see they have been exhausted. We are up to Sputnik number 4. This is the only mission that they will have us do, and as you can see we will need a sensor package for this. We will need a double C seismic accelerometer, a Prasmat barometer, a GravMax negative gravioli detector, and a thermometer. 4 sensors, of which I have as of yet unlocked 2. This is the problem I was talking about. If we go to the R&D center here, the nodes that have the other sensors haven't even been uncovered yet. Here we have some wheels, here we have some electronics, and here we have more wheels and ladders. Now the other sensors were found, let's have a look, here in the space exploration bit and here in the advanced exploration bit. So it stands to reason that perhaps in this corner of the tree there will be the other sensors. I could of course just go online, look it up. I will not do that. We will have to research it and find where they're at. And this leads us to our next mission, which will have the sole focus of getting as much science as possible. We have 222 credits available. We are not going to do a mission because there isn't a mission that they'll give us. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to refly yesterday's mission, going to Minmus and the moon and gather as much science as possible. Now this is crucial. I've redesigned the craft a little bit. This mission, the success of this mission is very important. We have the funds to do this. This vessel costs 126,000 crowns, by far the most expensive vessel to date. And it will leave us with a little bit under 100,000 credits. This is enough for a simple vessel that will put the sensor package in orbit. We can easily afford that. The only problem is we definitely need to get enough science to unlock the sensors in the first place. I did bring the pressure sensor and the thermometer on this one. Hopefully that will allow us to get a lot of science, and I have beefed up the ascent stage, added 2 more liquid fuel cores, and they are staged in a way that's known as asparagus. 2 of these will drain into these, well these tanks will drain into these, and they will drop off 2 by 2, leaving the center core fully fueled. So hopefully this rocket will have plenty of delta V to get to Minmus, then get to the moon, not fly out of the solar system, and then return home with everything, all the sciences, in order to unlock the next missions. I'm going to go to the launch pad now, see how it works with the science from the thermometers, and after that I'm going to give you a big fast forward because you've seen most of this in yesterday's mission, and there is not much point of doing that again. Let's have a look at what these sensors can do. Log pressure data, what do we get? Collected and recorded atmospheric pressure data from the surroundings. Great. Transmit them home and toggle the display. Oh, we can, it will read it for us. Well, that's fine. And we can get a thermometer reading. Temperature readers are quite literally nominal. Well, I will be transmitting these readings during the mission, hoping to get some extra science, and here goes your fast forward. See you hopefully on the surface of Minmus. That's not the landing I was expecting. I was hoping those legs would give me a little bit, or those lights would give me a little bit more leeway. Fortunately I wasn't going that fast, but that's about 100 million times faster as I would have preferred to land. Ladies and gentlemen, here's an example of how not to land on any planet, which is in the dark. I'm going to fast forward time until we have sunrise, which even on Minmus should happen eventually. We're on a pretty steep slope as well. All in all, I'm quite happy that we did land in the way we did. Right, here we are, daytime. That was quite a long fast forward session for you. I hope you enjoyed it. That was pretty much the same as yesterday's mission. As you maybe noticed, we have a little bit more fuel remaining due to the heavier ascent stage. That allows us to have a little bit more leeway in Delta V for the eventual moon landing. So, as before, we're going to keep a mystery goo and we're going to keep a materials bay here. So keep this. Added data, we can try the pressure data. Well, we can do a pressure scan here. There's no atmosphere. At least it tells us that. And the temperature gives us a 40 science readout. We will transmit that twice for our science points. Then after this, it is up to Jeb. Well, Jeb is in solar orbit, not Jeb. It's up to Bill to go out, plant a flag, and gather his science. I'll do that again, then try and fly to the moon, and this will all be fast forwarded again. So hopefully we will see each other again in Moonar orbit. Alright, here we are at the moon. The transfer went pretty well, and with this final burn we have selected our landing spot, hopefully in the middle of this crater, well in the sunlight and on an equatorial plane, making the return to Kerbin that much easier. So far so good. Going to give Bill another opportunity to give us a nice EVA report, see what happens with that. Yes, he's got some science values there, great. Just above the moon's highlands, we're getting the different biomes now. A crew report from here. This is still in space near at well 100%, so we're going to hit transmit. And our available experiments are going to get a run as well. We're still safely in space at 30 kilometers above it. This is 75 points, there's nothing to scoff at. And the goo container here is going to get a chance as well. Amazing. So far, the science objectives of this mission are going great. I'm going to time warp a little bit towards this landing moment, and if that goes well as well, hopefully we can get to go home again. Then we'll still have to see if the parachute works, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're almost at our landing zone. Maybe not this, it may not be the flattest bit, but we'll make do with it. Boy, these craters really look very, very pretty. We're at 13 kilometers now. Now the question is, until how late do I dare to wait to fire the rocket to slow down and start dropping straight down? 500 meters per second is not a trivial amount of speed to scrub off. This will take longer than 1 or 2 seconds. and I don't want to crash, of course. The question is, will I be able to make it over those highlands? I'm gonna go with probably not, and I'm going to start slowing down now in the hopes that I will be able to land on slightly flatter ground. This may just put me in the middle of that rough terrain, but I'm hoping I'm going to manage to set it down just before those hills there in the distance. Got 400 meters per second to scrub, 300 now, and our fuel is doing well. I hope it's enough. I hope it's going to be enough to get off the moon again as well. But this little craft, when Jeb was in it, had proven to be able to scrub quite a bit of meters per second, quite a bit of delta V on those last slivers of fuel. For him it wasn't enough, but I'm hoping that for Bill it will be. We won't need too much, a couple hundred more should do it for this landing. We're nice and low already. Unfortunately, the craft is a bit lighter than it was on its Minmus landing. This makes it easier to rack up high speeds on the landing, but you can cancel out quickly. If you need a few minutes to slow down, it is very hard to fine-tune your landing, so you only brake at the last second. It's not the most powerful lander one could imagine, but I think this one will do the job nicely. So here we are, almost cancelled out all our horizontal velocity. This will do for now. We're at 4 meters per second. I could have left a bit more horizontal velocity for that. This completely slowing down in mid-air is the definition of inefficient. This will give Bill another chance to give his opinion of this ridiculous situation. Well, he's seen the craters, got 0.8 science points for this transmission, but hey, there's nothing else to do. Gonna hit that button. Gonna give this materials experiment another go as well. 64 points, transmit that back. Because as you remember, we need those science points. We are in dire need of those points so we can find the sensors on the tech tree, which will allow us to launch our probes as well to Kerbal orbit as to Val, which has become our mission a day objective, to get as much information about Val and put as much stuff there. It's a simple objective, and while I'm talking I'm falling down quite rapidly. The gravity here on the moon is a lot stronger than it is on Minmus, and a landing in the Minmus style is quite definitely not survivable here. We need a little bit more precautions. Fortunately, we can see where we're going, which makes it easier to slow down, and I am afraid we are going to land on a slope. I hope the slope is shallow enough so that we can stand on it. We have quite a wide lander, but it does mean I'm going to touch down very, very slowly, very gently, so it can settle and find the way it wants to stand. Gee, this is again not quite ideal for a landing spot. I'm gonna try and come in under 3 meters per second, so we can really see if it wants to stand on this incredibly steep surface. I hope it will. If it would crash here, that would be a big bummer, especially for Bill. Bill, though, is looking happy. Coming down at 2 meters per second now. Go on. Go on, land it. Stick it on the ground. Oh, I'm so tense now. Go on, go on, go on. No! Don't fall, don't fall! And we're landed. This is much steeper than anyone would agree is reasonable, but we did it. We're on the moon. And now we can do our materials experiment here. Observe the bay. 100 points. We're gonna take that back to Kerbal. Thank you very much. And the goo will give us 40 points. We'll take that back as well. We'll ask for a crew report from Bill. He's on the moon's midlands. Transmit that home, please. And I'll do the flag planting and sample collection. I'll fast forward that for you until we're back in space. Okay, we're off the surface. That Bill sure took a long tumble down the hill, and he wrote on the flag, "Look out, slippy ground." So any next Moonar conquerors, if they read the flag, they know what's up. Once again, gee, those craters are beautifully done. Well done, squad, on that one, for sure. Now we're going to keep accelerating here until our trajectory is going to take us into the Kerbin atmosphere, and hopefully this will happen before our fuel runs out. Because we sure have a metric shit ton of science aboard this vessel, and that definitely needs to get back to Kerbin, and I think this is going to work out beautifully. So let's slow down a little bit. If we enter the atmosphere at about 15 kilometers, why not? We will be captured, and hopefully this parachute, combined with the last drips of fuel from the engine, will be sufficient for a safe landing. Experiments full of science, capsule full of reports, and the people back home will be sure to be able to research new sensors, which is what we are doing this all for. So, hey, a temperature scan while in space. Great, let's transmit that back. And after that, I'm going to fast forward the last bit of this mission, the re-entry into Kerbin, something you have seen time and again already, I'm sure. And we will come back at the landing. So, sit tight, we're almost home. Well, here we are coming in for a water landing with a deployed parachute. Going to add some engine power, and it looks like the parachute held. We're coming in for a 12 meter per second water landing. Going to deploy the landing struts one last time. And let's hope that these experiments are waterproof. Otherwise, we've proven that a 12 point something meter per second impact on land at any rate is well survivable. That was our landing speed on Minmus, crazy as that may be. And it may be premature, but I'm looking forward to a successful mission report with a lot of science to do. That's a big splash. Some components came loose, and I hope that the science didn't just evaporate. Let's have a look. Recover the vessel. Oh no, that would be horrible. We get the EVA report, we get this. Oh, we get the surface sample. That's in the capsule. Great. We get the surface sample, the EVA report, the EVA report. No, but the materials, the material science experiments and the goo containers, they got destroyed on the water impact. Man, it was premature after all. Fortunately, we did get a lot of science. We got some points for return of a vessel from the surface of Minmus as well. But lesson learned, don't trust your water landings. The vessel can break apart and then the science doesn't count. Use your engine, land on land. That's a good lesson. So we do have 700 science and whatever we transmitted, so I'm still happy. If we look at the... No, what we transmitted is counted in this. We have 727 science now, and we have to find these two sensor packages. So we're going to start with this 160 for the advanced electrics. And what do we have here? We have ion propulsion, far too advanced, no sensors in that. Unmanned tech, no sensors in that. Large electrics, no sensors in that. Electronics. This accelerometer is here in the electronics pack. And the other communitron. So we're definitely going to get this. 300 science for that. And what do we have here? Oh shit. The advanced science tech. This gives us the last detector and it requires a 550 science point endeavor. I have not devised a solution to this problem yet, but rest assured I will. tomorrow. So to recap, we did the mission to Minmus and the moon beautifully. We now have 101 Kerbal credits to get this science. We need 2 launches at least to get this science points, to get the Graph Max negative gravioli detector, and after that to get the satellite around Kerbin with all these sensors on it. So not an easy few days coming at all, but I'm happy about today. We did it, and it's extra sour now. If these materials observation base and Google canisters did not crash into the sea, we would have this sensor now, but they did and we don't. So all I have to say now is thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, do the usual, share it with your friends, hit like, leave a comment, subscribe, all those good things. I'm sure you know what to do. For now, this was Lorenzo. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.